Previously on Gears and Gasoline.
Let's say we went and got a car, a Japanese car, and spanked your butt in the quarter mile.
Budget,
$5 grand?
$5 grand, okay. 3 weeks, we'll see you at the drag strip.
3 weeks. So we found a car last night. Well, Luke, the cameraman here, found the car last night.
This is one of the most clapped out pieces of garbage that we've ever driven in our whole lives. So we're gonna clean up this car, and that's gonna give us more ability to diagnose what's going on with this car. There's actually a lot of sound deadening to take out, and we should lose a good 20 pounds worth of this sound deadening.
We're gonna replace that stud, probably replace the lower ball joint while we're in there, and just make sure everything is tight and less of a death trap.
Here's the car that we are going to be thrashing the drag strip with.
He's doing nitrous. He's doing nitrous.
I don't think these cars behave well on nitrous.
This is the gas tank that we have taken out of the hatch. This is a gas tank for like a CRX or something like that. It's a lot deeper than the OEM EF gas tank, and that means that it's not gonna fit, you know, where it's actually supposed to go, which is underneath the car. So we ordered a OEM EF gas tank from Advance. As you can see, it's much shallower than the gas tank of whatever this is out of. So this should fit right up underneath the car. So the previous owner, when they were fabricating whatever godforsaken abomination this fuel tank setup was, they just kind of hacked up the rubber filler neck connections. Luckily, we were able to go to Advance again, and they just had the fuel rated hose diameters that we needed. This one is like 1.5 inches, and then this one is 1/2 inch. Now we just need to figure out a fuel pump situation.
This is the fuel hanger out of the CRX gas tank that was sitting in the hatch when we bought the car. We are going to replace it with this very rusty, we'll clean it up, but this is the correct size fuel hanger out of an EF. You can see it's a lot shorter. Got this off of a parts car, so we're gonna take our 450 liter per hour pump. I don't know how big this is, but it was what was in the car before. Pop that sucker in there. We should have some fueling.
All right, we got this DriveWorks belt here, smaller serpentine belt because the previous owner has a longer belt on this engine, and in EF chassis, the engine bays are so tight that the alternator is actually contacting the frame. The previous owner said it was fine, but we're gonna put a shorter belt on so the alternator can come in a little bit and not contact the frame. There we go.
Swap EFs,
Oh man, should be K-swapped. Oh. That's how you get a belt on. Perfect. Now our engine doesn't hit the frame. Dude, the frame is like notched from where the pulley hit. Like it's literally taking metal out of the frame. It's almost become tradition at this point to remove the wipers off of our Hondas. Pulled off the inside, my Civic, and now this Civic. So underneath the dash here, there are some exposed wire. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover these up with heat shrink, actually splice them together properly so that we don't have a fire. So the previous owner had the battery just chilling back here, so we're gonna follow suit, but we're gonna mount it in a box so we're safe, and we're gonna mount the box to the floor with some riv nuts. I just did this on my Civic, so this should go pretty well on this Civic.
Ben, I've been looking high and low, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever. Nobody makes seats that bolt into this car.
We can't use these, not with sheet metal screws holding it to the floor.
But what if we do like bolts and like backing plates or something?
Yeah, then we have to deal with the smell.
Optimally, you're only gonna be sitting on it for 11 seconds at a time.
All right.
Sorry.
Got it.
Ben, what's that plate for?
This plate is so the bolt doesn't like pull through the floor, because the floor metal is actually pretty soft. We got a new seatbelt in, hot off the delivery truck. This came from eBay, it was 35 bucks. And this one's not frayed like the one that was previously in here.
Now we are relocating the high pressure fuel line because the previous owner had it routed through the cabin of the car. And for obvious reasons, that is pretty unsafe. So we're gonna reroute this line going underneath the car. Just in the interest of making sure that we don't have any other issues that might cause the car to run poorly, we're changing stuff like fuel filter, a basically identical CarQuest unit that is going to replace the OEM filter.
All right, now the last thing, the final thing is this shift linkage. It is fully bolted in right now, and that's how much slop we're dealing with. And with the way the shift linkage is right now, there is no way we're not gonna miss third gear. So we bought new linkages entirely. Everything will be new. So we're gonna have that nice, good, tight Honda shifter feel. Unfortunately, that means I have to work on my nemesis here. This is known as the bitch pin. It's probably the worst thing of a B series is the linkage, this pin in particular. No slop. We have a shifter with no slop. I'm moving the whole car.
Moment of truth. Fire extinguishers ready. I am super nervous. Go.
I think I heard you scream at the end.
So yeah, you probably did. So
It sounds like a bunch of rocks in a blender.
as you guys saw, we didn't have the greatest day on the dyno, but I did learn that a BPY 2-liter turbo engine does come apart at 440 pound-feet of torque to the wheels.
Yeah.
So it's this really great spike of torque and then less torque. I really wish, I didn't want to share this with you guys until we were at the track, but that was 100 shot of nitrous to through that engine. So it hit about 140 pound-feet of torque over what we had just ran the run before without the nitrous, just with some fuel upgrades and a turbo upgrade. We had 250 to the wheels horsepower and like 310 to the wheels torque.
Tell me, Charles, how many times did you watch Fast and Furious before you decided to modify your car? That's the
Bro, too soon, Junior.
I've heard of too soon, Junior, but 5 days before the race is a little bit too soon.
Way too soon.
The European car has already blown up before the race even happened.
I think that means we win by default regardless.
Just drink it in. Just get it all, drink it in. I look, I'm sort of like seeing where we're at with maybe kicking the timeline down so I could find another engine or another car.
We booked the track, dude. It's
We
for
got,
next week.
Yeah, we got 5 days.
Yeah.
I know. Believe me, like, I don't really want to push this car across the, like, a quarter of a mile. That's a long way to push it.
Can you find a new car in 5 days?
I think so. I have many favors called in. I've shaken all the trees I can find to find something.
We'll start back at 0 for you. Just do what you can in 5 days. That's a bigger restriction now than the budget, so.
Let me ask you this. If I win, do I have to get like a little asterisk like I did steroids and I won a hitting competition, or is it just...
We're gonna forget that this happened entirely.
You're never gonna forget that this happened ever. Don't even lie.
Trust us, Charles. We'll never bring it up again. We'll never bring it up again.
With the knowledge that Charles had already blown his car up before the race could even begin, we decided to head to the dyno ourselves to see how much power our Civic was making. We are up here in Gaithersburg, Maryland at Turbo XS, home of our OG homie Jermaine. We brought the Civic up here just to dyno it at the very least and see what kind of horsepower it's making. And then also, if the ECU decides to cooperate, hopefully let him do some tuning on it. But first, he is going to check the car out and give us kind of his first impressions of this masterpiece that we've brought him.
This is less than ideal vehicle for anything, actually. So we use a Dynapack dyno that attaches to your hub. So you have your adapter here that attaches to your hub, and then install it. Now the torque is being measured by the load cell that's inside the dyno. Under wide open throttle above 5,000 RPM. This car is running about 15 to 1, so it'd be reckless to run it all the way to red line. It basically scattered the engine everywhere. So we're gonna try and fix that before we can make a full pull. So the first thing we're gonna do is check the fuel pressure. We figured out that the voltage to the fuel pump was too low, so we added direct power to the pump, and now we got 13 volts, and now the AFR is in check, and we should be able to make a full pull. We're able to make 297 horsepower at the wheel, but we really need to do some tuning on the top end because the AFR was a little bit rich and it started to break up about 6,500 RPM. So we're using Neptune, which I think is about 150 bucks for us to start tuning with that.
Advance, they had the plugs that this thing runs in stock, so I'm just gonna swap those out, see if that makes any difference.
Okay, so we added new spark plugs just to have a fresh set in here and see if it possibly pick up some power. We had a little bit of misfiring. Usually spark plugs are the easiest way to go about basically getting rid of those. All right, so that last pull was 324 horsepower. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. And so before it was kind of like breaking up?
Yep, so we were having some misfires and we were able to solve the misfire problem. We also ran into a boost cut, so we were able to erase the boost cut so we didn't run into that anymore. And that made it run through the RPM nice and smooth. We got 270 foot-pounds, 324 horsepower.
Who said that Hondas don't make torque, dude?
At least this one does.
Whoa, let's go! Oh my gosh, that is so fun.
We had this car sitting outside and it rained last night. We had like a little towel on top of the hole to cover the hole, but it seems that our efforts were unsuccessful because the exhaust is full of water. I think the best way to get this water out is just start the car and get into some boost. It's only in the wastegate pipe, so I think if we open the wastegate pipe, it might just shoot the water up.
Bro, my new shirt!
It's like stirring a pot of soup. I think I have to say it. This bucket is not so bad.
You're never gonna forget that this happened ever.
Girls, we'll never bring it up again.
We can't lose too much weight, but we can make up for it with power and
That we can.
other things.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm so excited to see what you guys do.
He's doing nitrous. He's doing nitrous.
I don't think these cars behave well on nitrous.